All right, thank you all for that. You may be seated. All right. So what I like to do tonight is we typically have our regular general meeting, but also we just had our November 9th branch election on that Saturday, November 9th. And so we're going to have our swearing in ceremony, which will be administrated by District Attorney, Gwinnett County District Attorney Patsy Austin-Gatson. She'll be conducting that. So at this particular time, I'm going to ask her to come up along with the members of the executive committee to start that process. The officers of our executive committee, so only the officers, not the committee chairs.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I think it would be appropriate if everyone said what office that they're running for before we get started. The office that they are holding,
Right.
okay? My head is still in the.
Ray Morgan, I'm at-large member of the executive committee.
Princess Hawkins, treasurer.
John Cox, second vice president.
Darlene Wilkinson, Assistant Treasurer.
Shaniqua Walker, Assistant Secretary.
Shaniqua Lovett, Secretary.
Markeisha Woodson, Member at Large.
First vice president.
Tiger Harris, member at large.
I go last.
All right, what I'm gonna do is, when I get to the part where you all are gonna say, you just say your name as we go in. But this is, a great event because we know that NAACP has a wonderful history. And guess what? We need y'all. So the installation branch officers occasion and should be held in high regard by you, the oath taker, and by all attendees and participants to this ceremony as an obligation to carry out all duties as prescribed by the NAACP bylaws on behalf of the community that you serve. All right, so what I'll do is, please raise your right hand. I'll do it all in mass. And repeat after me. I solemnly swear or affirm to discharge to the best of my ability the responsibilities.
Hey, we gotta take it bit by
All
bit.
right, I'll give y'all a couple words at a time.
Can we get captions? Yeah.
Okay, can we do
Subtitles?
this? I solemnly swear or affirm
I solemnly swear or affirm
to discharge to the best of my ability
to discharge to the best of my ability
the responsibilities of the office
the responsibilities of the office
in the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People
for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People
in accordance with the Constitution and bylaws
in accordance with the Constitution and bylaws
and the decisions of its governing bodies.
and the decisions of its governing bodies.
I dedicate myself anew
I dedicate myself anew
to its principles of equality
to the principles of equality
and justice under law.
and justice under law.
I shall always try to keep the goals
I shall always try to keep the goals
of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People
for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People
above any purely personal or individual interests.
above any personal. Yes, what she said.
That might hinder
That might hinder
the attainment of those goals.
the attainment of those goals.
I ask for the continued help
I ask for the continued help
of the Almighty God
of the Almighty God
in keeping this pledge.
in keeping His pledge.
Y'all ready?
Woo! Congratulations, John.
Congratulations.
All right, I guess last but not least, I introduce myself. Most of you know me, but some of you may be new to Edward Paul, President of the Gwinnett County NAACP.
You ready? Now, we just went over, you were standing right now. Now, you know this is a very true, solemn, and important position that you hold. And you know now we need y'all more than ever to do the work. And you can repeat after me. Please raise your right hand. I solemnly swear or affirm to discharge,
I solemnly swear to affirm or discharge,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
the responsibilities of the office
the responsibilities of the office
in the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People,
in the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People,
in accordance with its Constitution
in accordance of this Constitution
and bylaws,
and bylaws,
and the decisions of its governing bodies.
and decisions of its governing body.
I dedicate myself anew
I dedicate myself anew
to its principles of equality and justice under law.
to its principles of its equality and justice under law.
I shall always try to keep
I shall always try to keep
the goals
the goals
of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People
of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People
above any purely personal,
above any purely personal
individual interests
or individual interests
that might hinder the attainment of those goals.
that might hinder the attainment of those goals.
I ask for the continued help
I ask for the continued help
of the Almighty God
of the Almighty God
in keeping this
in
pledge.
keeping this pledge.
All right, congratulations.
All right, I'm just gonna ask for one more round of applause to all our officers that have been really elected from last year. Truly grateful and thankful, to have them as a great team and a good support system around me. They all keep me grounded in their own way, and, like I said, I love working with them. All right, so at this time, I'm gonna turn over some of the committee reports to the different chairs of the different committees. So I called John Cox up to just give a brief update on the education committee. Just give a brief detail of the last meeting they had, I think it was in November, and provide a date for the upcoming meeting here in January, and anything else he'd like to give out. And then after that, I'll call up the youth council.
All right, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Just to start off, our next meeting is January 27th. Probably be virtual, but I will be in the office, so if you want to come and meet in person, you can come to the office of that meeting. So, this is the Education Committee report for December 2024. The Education Committee voted not to have a formal December meeting due to the limited activities in November, new year. Any progress on committee goals will share via the committee's grouping platform. To that end, the following updates will be provided. One, meeting with the Shiloh High School principal. On December 13th, I met with the principal of Shiloh High School to discuss their local school improvement plans and explore ways the education committee could support them. This productive conversation highlighted several actionable areas of need. While touring the school, I observed several specific issues and brought them to the principal's attention. Impressively, she was already working on those solutions that align with the NAACP's mission. I look forward to sharing these insights with the committee and mapping out collaborative opportunities in our next meeting. We did a very Merry Christmas event on December 14th. The Education Committee co-sponsored the Very Merry Christmas event at Centerville One Stop Community Center alongside one of our committee members. We distributed 30 teddy bears and books to children registered for the program. The event included a storytime session, bear decorating activities and regressions. I personally signed adoption certificates for the bears, making it a memorable experience for the children and their families. This event was a shining example of community engagement and impact partnership effort. We had a celebration service in December. I attended the celebration service for school board members Karen Watkins and Dr. Murphy. The event highlighted their dedication to education and the community. Notably, Dr. Murphy will have a middle school in Archer Cluster named in her honor, recognizing her lasting contributions to Gwinnett County Public Schools. In closing, the holiday season has been a time of meaningful community engagement and reflection. These activities not only strengthen our ties within the community, but also provide opportunities to reaffirm the community's mission to support equitable education and community growth. I look forward to continuing this work with all of you as we enter the new year. Respectfully submitted, John Cox.
So I don't think our youth president is here because she and her father are still in California. So I do got the co-youth advisor, Reese Walker, here on behalf of the youth council, and his daughter, the assistant secretary. Come up and read the report.
Hi everyone, I'm Olivia Walker, the Assistant Secretary for the Gwinnett NAACP Youth Council. This report is from our meeting on Sunday, December 15, 2024 at 6:00 p.m. Our members present are Alana Atkins, Ivana Harris, and Mr. Q Atkins, and me as Malia Walker and Reese Walker. The meeting started with a welcome from Alana Atkins, followed by a brief overview of the agenda. The focus remains on nurturing leaders of great courage, building a great community, and inspiring great change. Our action plan discussion was the discussion of cards and letters for outreach in the new year. A motion to provide up to $100 in funding for postage, printing, and distribution. We discussed events for 2025, a motion to host an event on February 14, 2025, at Main Event in Swanee, Georgia. A brief discussion concerning AXA and inviting people to participate and AXA at the event at Main Event. Mr. Q Atkins and Mr. Reese Walker provided additional updates, council activities, and discussion on additional parent and student participation for AXA. We discussed having our first online meeting event with other youth by February 7, 2025. The set of meetings will be held on Sunday, January 12, 2025. 6:00 p.m., leadership meeting, 6:30 p.m. general meeting, and 7 p.m. a committee meetings recap. The meeting ended at 6:34 p.m. with a recap of discussions and a reminder of upcoming events and deadlines. Thank you.
All right, and I had a misstep in our meeting, so I do apologize. So let me back up a little bit before we finish our reports. Can I get a motion from the floor to accept the minutes from our December general meeting? You will be needing mic so they can hear you online, so I'm gonna have a mic out here flowing.
I make a motion that we accept the, minutes from our December meeting.
Can I get a second? Motion given by Second Vice President.
Assistant Treasurer, second.
Seconded by Assistant Treasurer Darlene Wilkerson. All those in favor of accepting the minutes from the December general meeting, say aye. Any opposed? All right, it is unanimous. So at this time, I'm gonna turn it over to Jacques Laurent to cover our Freedom Fund, give us an update on the Freedom Fund Committee. For those who are not familiar with the NAACP, all the branches are tasked with having a fundraiser each year in an effort to help raise funding for the branch. And so at this time, turn it over to Jacques, to our first Vice President and Freedom Fund Chair, Committee Chair, to give us an update on that.
Good afternoon. Or good evening. Our last meeting was held on December 9th, 2024 at 7:30 p.m., which is typically the second Monday of evening of the month. We had President Shaniqua Walker, Tracy Fox, Nelson Tiger Harris, Nadia Alexander, and Geraldine Shante Williams present. We discussed three key points: finding a location, honorary co-chairperson, and catering options. After reviewing several proposals, we submitted. We determined to go look at one of the. We rejected the other places and decided to look at one place, Mason Group, and we went there on 12/18 to review the location and discuss the proposal they presented. Then we discussed honorary co-chairperson. We had a couple of names, but we were waiting to confirm the date of the location before actually locking in who that person would be. And we discussed several catering options, also pending because some of the locations do have approved lists. So we wanted to see which location we end up getting, and so that before going further, but we did have made a list of about 3 or 4 other catering locations to have in tow, just in case we're not tied into one location. With that said, we adjourn the meeting, and that's my report. Thank you.
All right, so I'm gonna ask, and we'll put her on the spot, Mrs. Ellie Walker, our new Political Action Committee Chair, to come up and just give us a brief update on the Political Action Committee. The Executive Committee just approved of her being elevated to that position at our last Executive Committee meeting in December, along with Darryl Mans. I don't think Darryl was able to make the night. He will be our Legal Redress Chair. So this is one of our new chairs going into 2025. Come up and give an update on the Political Action Committee.
Okay. Hey everybody. So this is kind of a slow year coming off of our big GOTV campaign that we did last year. Thank you everybody who helped. Could have done it without every single one of y'all, so thank you. February, we have the Founders Day at the Capitol coming up, which will give you more insight into the legislative updates happening in and around Georgia. And then we're just gonna have our regular meetings, which, you know, they can still be exciting, depending on what's happening in and around the county. We have some speakers, come in for different meetings that way. But really our next kind of big event after that will be the end of August, where we're gonna do some civic education training. And so we'll probably do a few sessions where either, or both in person and virtual, end of August, early September after Labor Day, just to kind of get our members more civically engaged. After that big old campaign last year, so we want to make sure everybody feels empowered in their own knowledge and advocacy efforts that way. And then after that, we're going to go into our candidate forums, which will be 2 or 3 sessions mid-October, like 14th, 24th, we're kind of around those times where, again, like you saw last year, I don't know if it's going to be in person or virtual or both options, but have our series of candidates running for this upcoming election and just be able to hear from them on their platform and the things that are important to them and how that impacts us as a chapter. So that's what we got. Our next meeting is on Monday at 8 o'clock, and so that'll be every third Monday is the back meetings. So.
And just to add to that, the meeting was moved to the MLK, being on the third Monday, so we moved it to the second Monday because of that. We probably will have some additional, I haven't had a chance to talk to LA about it, but I did talk to one organization that trains people who's looking to run for office. So if I got anybody in the room looking to run for city council or mayor this year, come see me at the meeting. And I do got an organization that does training. And so I'll probably have her come on either at our February meeting or maybe March, just to explain that platform and how you can get involved if you consider running for office. Let's see. So I don't, is Tiger ready for membership, or do I just need to do it? I do membership. I think he had a family issue he had to step out. So as far as the membership committee, they did meet last month on the first Thursday. You ready? You come down as a college. I'll let our membership chair take over, Mr. Nelson Tiger Harris.
There we go. There we go.
Hey, people again.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to read. I thought all our minutes were accepted from last year, right? So it was in the whole new year. So I'm like, I have to go get my glasses. Yeah. All my people over 40, yeah? Throw your hands up on top. Yeah, y'all understand me, right? You understand me? Y'all get me? There we go. So, the membership committee, December 5th, 2024, at 7:30 p.m. So let me let you all know, it's usually the first Thursdays of the month. This year, well, for this month, we start a little bit later. Remember that day? It's the third Thursday. Who knows the third Thursday? I might have a prize for you. What's the date? 16? Said first. I got something for you. Courtesy of Darlene. Yes, thank you, Darlene. She got my back. Okay, so the members and visitors that were present was, of course, me, our President Edward Paul, First Vice President John Vermont, and Shanta Stroud. Oh, I pronounced the last name right. Oh, she just, well, okay. That's right, we were doing something out there, some stuff. Anyway, so the summary, Gwinnett NAACP Membership Committee discussed the progress on the Code of Conduct with an update expected by early 2025. The committee emphasized the importance of corporate partnerships over corporate memberships to avoid losing 50% of the revenue to national. They proposed creating a landing page on the website Yeah, I felt that when I said it, I felt you. Yeah, I think I was supposed to, yeah, you supposed to edit that. I'm sorry. Can we do that part over? Yeah, okay, let's do that part over. So, the committee emphasized the importance of corporate partnerships. They proposed creating a landing page on the website to highlight corporate sponsors and their benefits, including potential discounts for members. The goal is to increase membership to 500 new members by 2026, with a focus on life memberships. The committee also discussed marketing strategies, including in-person meetings and events to boost membership engagement and visibility. Action items: finalize the code of conduct and send it to the executive committee for approval. Set a goal of 500 new members by the end of 2026, with a target of at least 1/3 being life memberships. Explore a corporate sponsorship model instead of corporate memberships to maximize revenue retained by the local branch. Develop marketing materials and plan in-person membership drives to promote life memberships and reach the community. The outline: attendance was taken, old business was discussed, introductions were made, new business was introduced and discussed. The floor was open to comments. The meeting concluded with positive affirmations and well wishes for the holiday season and the new year. Closing remarks and future plans are almost done. How can we structure corporate partnerships to maximize the financial benefits for the local NAACP branch? What strategies can we implement to reach our ambitious membership goals, particularly for life memberships? How can we ensure the code of conduct is comprehensive and effectively communicated to all members? So, if you are not a member, please raise your hand. I want you guys to see me immediately following this and see her when you're super done. Thank you guys, appreciate it. I'll go ahead and give the floor back to President Paul.
All right, so I'll do the rundown of the last couple of committees, and then we'll move on to old business. The Legal Redress Committee met on December the 6th. Some of the topics we discussed was one of the outstanding complaints, which involved a student who allegedly leg was broken by one of the staff at GCPS. So we're looking further into that issue just to verify some of the information we've been given. I know at the time, one of the Legal Redress Committee members had a little bit of trouble reaching that person, so we're gonna try to follow up with them going into the new year. We also discussed some of the upcoming events, which I won't go over now since it'll be kind of redundant, so I'm gonna skip past that. We also discussed reaching out to the Gwinnett County Police Department about partnering on some different events. I know the committee has committed to doing a Know Your Rights campaign, so that if there's an issue, you know, get pulled over by law enforcement, what steps and things you should or shouldn't say if you're ever pulled over. So we're in the process of putting that together, and hopefully we'll have a date sometime in the first quarter of the year for that particular event. And last but not least, the members of the committee as well as the executive committee are still looking to set a date sometime, hopefully next month, with the sheriff office to meet with Sheriff Kibo Taylor, just to do a view of the jail as well as understand some of the processes with Gwinnett County Jail. For those who are familiar with Gwinnett County, back in 2022, there were a lot of young men who unfortunately lost their life while in custody of Gwinnett County Jail in the year 2022. So we're looking to see if a lot of the processes that were in place back then, have those processes been improved, get a better understanding of how the process works. So as an organization, we can understand how to hold them accountable if certain things are not being met. So finally, the committee did give some feedback on updating our complaint form. I think the form is finalized, if I'm not mistaken. Some of the suggestions were already sent over to the secretary. So once our new website goes up, we'll look to have that complaint form go up to make things a lot more easier and in sync, so that when people put in a complaint with our organization, and process is a little bit more simplified and not kind of all over the place like how it is right now. Again, those things predate me, so don't beat me up about the current complaint form. And that's pretty much it from legal redress. The next committee meeting is tomorrow, which will be virtual. It'll be at 7:30 p.m. That's January the 10th. So if you're part of that committee, be prepared to join us tomorrow virtually through Microsoft Teams. If you're a member, you should be getting emails from the secretary with the link to join. So even if you're not serving on the committee, you just want to come in and be part of the committee, see what we got going on, you're more than welcome to come into the committee. So that is all for legal redress. Final committee I'll cover will be our health committee. As of our last committee meeting with the health committee, we discussed, well, you know what? I got one of the members here from the health committee meeting, even though he ain't a chair or anything yet, but I'm gonna let him come up and talk about the upcoming event we got planned for the health committee. I know one of the things that we are doing with the health committee, we have been in a fact-finding mode, just trying to look at some of the disparities in Gwinnett County when it comes to both physical and mental health. I plan on meeting with some of the staff at GNR just to get some data from them on what some of the health disparities, especially in the Black community, that we need to be focused on, or maybe getting overlooked. I know some suggestions was given by the committee, some of it being with cervical cancer, prostate cancer, of course, diabetes, and then a lot of mental health issues that we're seeing with some of the kids into the school. I know Education Chair John Cox has brought up sort of a wraparound service and trying to deal with kids that's having trauma, look at other ways other than just suspending the child, trying to address a lot of underlying issues while they're acting out in school. So those two committees, education and health, be partnering on what that would look like with John kind of spearheading that. So at this time, I'm gonna let Brother Luis in our health committee, one of the members, talk about the upcoming event in February.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, President. We have upcoming on February 15th from 11 to 3 p.m. The health committee for Gwinnett County is going to be in, I think, Norcross, I think it is. And we have several people that's already wanted to partner with us, from Pan Foundation, Roll, Reaching Out Brothers Everywhere, Roll, Reaching Out Sisters Everywhere, some other organizations as well that want to partner with us to make this thing event really well. The people that's coming out, I've been working with before in the past, and they have done really good work in the community with mental health, behavioral health, and we plan on making this event very well for everybody in the community. The community we're looking at is a very diverse community. Have a lot of children, and they also have a lot of behavior problems in the schools. So we're looking at addressing those situations as soon as we get over there, letting people know that there are resources in the community that they can get to with pay or pay or without pay. So there's a lot of things we're going to be doing coming up in this year. But on February 15th, it's going to be our first event for the Gwinnett County NAACP, and that night I want it to be a really good event. So I passed out the information, the flyers with the email that I passed out. I wish you guys would also send out all your connections so we can make this a really good event for the NAACP. Thank you.
All right, so that wraps up all our committees except for the finance committee. Since we are streaming live, we don't give out financial reports to the public. That's only for members only. So if you are a member of the branch and want a copy of the financial report, please email the secretary to make that request. She'll verify your membership, either her or the assistant secretary, and they'll contact the treasurer with your email to get you that information. That being said, can I get a motion to accept the committee reports from the floor? Who got the mic?
I make a motion to accept the committee reports except for the finance report.
Can I get a second? Motion given by first vice president, second vice president.
Second.
Seconded by Assistant Treasurer Darlene Wilkerson. All those in favor of accepting the committee reports, except for the finance report, say aye. Any opposed? All right. Ayes have it, it is unanimous. So upcoming calendar for 2025, so we do got a list of the events that we're going to be doing this year. I'm not going to talk about too many specific committee events other than the one we already mentioned, which was the health committee event that's coming up in February. As far as the other committees, they'll announce those, and we'll get that information out to you either on social media or via email, if you remember, or we can just follow our email chain. But we do got a bunch of different events coming up, so I'll go through them briefly. I think Ellie's already mentioned our political action committee chair on February the 12th, which is the Founders Day for the NAACP. We will be meeting at Presbyterian Church at 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and we'll meet with the legislators. So we will get an update on where things are in terms of what laws are coming down at the state level. Any bills or things that we want to advocate for as an organization, we will kind of make that known to our state representatives and state senators at that particular time. I think they will have some work sessions and they will be feeding you all. So we definitely want as many of our members to show up to that event as possible. And that's going to be again on Wednesday, February the 12th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Presbyterian Church. Once the state, this is not just the Gwinnett NAACP, this will be DeKalb, this will be Atlanta, this will pretty much be the entire state conference. So there's all the NAACP branches in Georgia. We'll be participating in this event. So we want to have a pretty good turnout from the Gwinnett side. So just be prepared. As soon as we get something from the state conference as far as a flyer, we'll get that out to the membership and post it on social media. I won't go over the health. I got a little bit of a cold, so excuse me. We do have the health committee resource fair. I won't dive too much into that, but as we said, it'll be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Once we finalize the location, we will get that information out along with the flyer as well. But you can mark your calendars from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We will have that particular event. And the resource fair, again, we look to have people there to check blood pressure, check glucose, to check everything as much as we can that we can do away from an actual facility. As well as we'll have some mental health experts there to just pass out some information if you're dealing with any type of mental health issues or you got kids that may be troubled kids that may need some help. We're gonna try to provide some different resources for you at that resource fair. Because we have all these different groups and these different businesses and companies in and around Gwinnett County. But now it's about trying to bridge that gap and connect people to those organizations and to those businesses. So that'll be on Saturday, February the 15th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. All right. All right. And then of course, I'll jump back to January, going out of order a little bit. We'll be participating with the United Evidence Society for their MLK event. So everybody's familiar with United Evidence Society, they do it every year. But this year we're going to be partnering with the Gwinnett NAACP as well as Galeo. We're all going to be partnering together. And y'all will probably see us do more events like that. As I've always said, as an organization, I know in the past we operated in silos. Well, now that we got new leadership in place, we're going to look to stop doing that and partner with other organizations because we don't need to split people going to this event, that event. Everybody just come to one place and we just have one big event and our organizations can be there. Whatever information each organization want to talk about and discuss, we're going to try to do it that way. So we will be partnering with the United Evidence Society for the MLK event on January 20th. The other event, it has not, the date hasn't been set yet, but we are going to put it in the works. This year we'll make Malcolm X's 100th birthday on May 19th. So I am in discussion with President Pratt about doing something, putting on some type of event for that, either that weekend or on that day, that Monday, I think his birthday falls on Monday the 19th. So I don't think nobody's in Gwinnett has done anything Malcolm X on his birthday, and he's been just as influential as Martin Luther King and many other civil rights and human rights leaders. So we will look to partner with the United Evidence Society, any other organizations that's out there that would like to participate in doing something for Malcolm's 100th birthday coming up in May. it's still in the early preliminary stages, but hopefully we'll have something fleshed out in the next month or so in terms of that. As far as the other events that we got happening, the convention for the National NAACP will be in Charlotte, North Carolina, from July 12th, Saturday, to Wednesday, July 16th. So we're asking all members, please come, please be prepared to go down. We're gonna have the secretary, will get information out to you, on how you can register and sign up to go and participate. National Convention is a great way to meet other organizers in the NAACP and other branches across the country, as well as they're gonna have different workshops, different celebrities, all of that will be there. But the main thing is, it's very educational, a lot of informative things that'll be there. Again, it's a chance to meet other organizers in other parts of the world, bounce some ideas off of them about what they're doing in their communities to improve things. So it's a great event, asking as many of our members to attend, to try to be there. Finally, the October will be our state convention, and I gotta go to October. It has not been set yet, so I'm going off of past history. From what I've been told, it will be in Augusta, Georgia, and that'll be October the 9th through the 11th, tentatively. We haven't got it confirmed yet, but that's typically when they do the state convention, so that's Thursday through Saturday. So for those of you who cannot make the trip to Charlotte, please come to the state convention. Again, we'll be organizing with organizers all across the state of Georgia, other NAACP branches in North and South Georgia. So again, another great event, another good time to meet different organizers all across the country. That's with the NAACP, and of course, they're gonna have workshops and things like that at the state convention as well. And did we talk about Freedom Fund? Today?
I didn't mention any date.
Okay, so I'm gonna put it out there. Tentatively, we're looking to have our Freedom Fund banquet in either late September, early October. So we're still trying to confirm a few things with some of the guests that's gonna be there speaking and is gonna be participating. Once that's been finalized, then we will proceed with getting a date for that event. So hopefully we'll have a date for you all by no later than maybe February. Should be, yeah, everything should be finalized by February.
ICC meeting should be appreciated.
Okay, so we'll get that out to you for our Freedom Fund. Again, that's our gala, that's our banquet. It's time everybody let their hair down, dress up, look nice. All the ladies put on the beautiful makeup, get their hair done. All the men to be having nice tuxedos and be dressed to the T. Great event, so please definitely come out and support that. We'll get more information about that. And that ends our calendar for 2025. Any other activities or events, we'll get that out to you. So that closes our old business. New business, we do have a new address, so please just don't show up. Email the secretary first or call us, because again, we are all volunteers. Nobody's on the payroll. So 24-hour notice per the secretary. If you plan to stop by the office and want to meet with one of the officers there, the address is 3235 Satellite Boulevard, Suite 400, Building 400, Suite 300, I almost had it, in Duluth, Georgia. So that is where our office is. If you want to stop by and visit us, keep in mind we just moved it in. We ain't official, so we ain't fully decorated yet, but we get it. So don't judge us for the walls being like a bachelor pad. Next agenda item, we do need more members to participate in our communications committee and AXO. Of course, communication, that's being responsible for things like StreamYard, which is what we use to stream this event, helping us create our flyers, helping with our press releases, media advice, social media. So if you're interested in participating in the communications committee, please email the secretary, or you can email me, president@GwinnettNAACP.com, because we're looking to build up that committee. We do have a communications team right now that for the next 11 months or so, they'll kind of be helping us with our communications, and they said they're willing to train anybody that's gonna be part of that particular committee. So if you're interested, definitely reach out and we'll get you plugged into that. AXO committee, that is a committee that Kelly Atkins, who's also our youth advisor, we're looking to get parents involved in that committee. AXO is a competition in art, science, technology that we typically have with the students in and around Gwinnett County. So we're gonna be looking to get that paperwork finalized. Me and Shaniqua gotta sit down and Kelly, when we get back, get all the paperwork filled out so we can participate in that. But we are looking for parents to help us, or if you're not a parent and you just want to help participate, serve on a committee, and get involved with helping these young people get involved in competition. We got a lot of talent here in Gwinnett. We got a lot of schools, like secondary, I think there's some type of robotic school. Secondary, the AI school, what's up? GSMST. So we got a lot of very talented students in Gwinnett County, and because our convention is so close to home by it only being in Charlotte, we definitely want to send at least, I think we can send at least two students, one or two students to represent our branch to the national convention for AXA. So we definitely want to get as many members involved in that particular committee to help us recruit these young people, set up the competitions in the different schools, and get that off the ground. We haven't done AXA, at least to my knowledge, Jacques. 6 years, 10 years. 2007, okay, so a very long time. And so since we're so close to the national convention being so close to home, we definitely want to try and get some of these keys highlighted. And I'll discuss with the executive committee about, as far as funding, sponsoring, sending those students there so we can try to make it where it's not, if all possible, it's very little out of pocket for the parents to send their child or no out of pocket. Try to, twist the arms of our executive committee to get them to pay for the full ride for the students to go. But we'll continue to work on that. So that's ends that section. Okay, so where's the mic? Because this is a little bit of a sensitive topic, and so I know I'm probably gonna have people wanting to have some questions about it, but I did have a meeting with some of the county commissioners, and they wanted me to ask about the upcoming vote, Children's Detention Center in Gwinnett County. So I told them I would get feedback. I gave them my feedback at the meeting that I was at, and I won't give out because I don't want to influence anybody's opinion. So at this time, anybody that wants to comment on that, I'm going to give you the mic if they can't hear you online without it. So if anybody want to comment on that detention center, because it is going to be coming across the county commissioners desk soon for any votes. I was told to get feedback from the community. So I would marching orders and I was marching orders feedback. So anybody want to speak on the feedback? Go up what I see. First. If you just say your first name, let's see.
Demetrius, so this is the first one we hear about it, so I'm gonna give my initial reaction. So I'm an educator of 60 years, elementary and middle school, always in Title I schools. And so from my experience and education, knowing of the prison pipeline that exists and is ever present, it's interesting how, for some of you all who may not know, that when it comes to the building of prisons, that they look at scores of our students, regardless of gender, ethnicity. It's really about caste systems. And by third grade, they determine how many prisons that they're going to build. And so now it seems very interestingly strategic. If we can't get our prisons built based off of this, let's get it built based off of that. And so now this sounds like this is the that. And, but also, we also have to think about when it comes to our schools, we still have a lack of school leaders, district leaders, teachers that do not have the cultural competence training. We have an influx of novice teachers that
are not properly trained in their colleges of education, because that's not a course that is offered. And so therefore, when these teachers are coming in and they're dealing with children that are different from their own background or different from their training, then sometimes their first resort is, let's just get them out of the classroom instead of trying to figure out what is it that they are needing and to keep them in the classroom. So I'm totally 100%, 101 against that. I definitely want to get some more information because the powers that be will hear from me.
Good evening again. My name is Luis. My company is the Helping Hand Travels LLC. We provide anger management and behavior modification services. I've been in this field for over 4 decades now, and I agree with what he said a little while ago. If it does come, we need to make sure that we have people in there that's working with our youth that understand the behaviors of our youth. Because different cultures act differently. Different ethnicities act differently. And if we have people that don't know them and don't know how to respond to their behavior, we're gonna have a bigger situation, a bigger problem. If it does come, my concern is who's mandating the helm? Who's in charge of it? Who's teaching them? I've taught behavior modification skills over 4 years to people that thought they knew what they was doing and had no clue how to deal with the situation. So I'm like, brother, I need more information on what's going on, who's in charge of it, who they plan on hiring to run that place, and really be in depth of who's going to do what with our youth. As he stated, and I always say this all the time, when children act up, it's the reason. Kicking them out of class is one of the reasons they want to do to get away from everybody else. Because they either embarrassed because they couldn't read, they're being bullied, or it's a shame, so they want to get away. Understanding the behavior before you kick them out of the class is going to be more beneficial to everyone, the teacher, the student, and the family, and the community. So I'm very concerned about this bill because, as you stated, they already plan to put people in there if they build it. It's not being built in case, it's being built for. It's already planned. They're looking at the statistics, they're looking at the problem, they're looking at the family and the community of those that are underserved and underprivileged to put their children inside of there. So it's already coming, it's already doing. So I want to be a big part of the say-so what goes on inside of there. Thank you.
So I will answer one of the questions. So the facility would be under, now, I am gonna let District Attorney Gatson come up and speak and talk about some stuff off topic that has nothing to do with this topic. So I don't want y'all to be held up thinking it's in her purview. This is in the purview of the sheriff's office. So it will go under Sheriff Kibo table. I'm gonna give the mic to Second Vice President John Cox, and then if anybody else wanna speak on the topic, okay. Any other hands? I see John. Okay, Tracy back. Okay.
Just go ahead and give that information.
Oh, I think that was it. It's under the Sheriff Taylor's office, because I think that was the portion for the recent features.
Okay, for me, once again, my name is John Cox, I'm Second Vice President and Education Chair. I know that Gwinnett County has had a high rate of punitive discipline in the school system, which leads to having a higher combined rate of kids being sent to alternative schools than the nearest 5 counties combined. So if you have that kind of track record, and now you're starting to explore prisons, that means you're totally going in the wrong direction. As Brother Luis said, and Demetrius said, a lot of this is based on the literacy rate by the time a child reaches 3rd grade. So with those understandings, they think that if a child can't read by the 3rd grade, then they're likely going to end up in prison. And that's how they forecast these prisons. The problem is if you have the money for a prison, then you have the money to create mental health facilities to avoid it. If you have the money, then you have the money for after-school programs so kids are not in the street. If you have the money, then you have the money for trauma-informed practices to help these kids that are running around, suffering from trauma, and acting out as a result of that. So for kids sitting in front of you in class and you don't understand why it is they're hot today, they're angry today, it might be something that happened at home that has not been resolved. Maybe they're in an environment that is just too tough and they don't have a safe place to talk about that. Build safe places for them to exist and to grow their voices so they can speak and keep. And stop trying to force these kids into prisons because they refuse to deal with them. Dealing with them is just a matter of being consistent in their lives, speaking truth to them, and correcting them in a manner that helps build them, as opposed to quarrels, criticisms, or just trying to correct somebody without ever connecting to them. Kids are not stupid, and kids don't deserve to be thrown away and locked up. So if that's your opinion, and I'm speaking to the record when I was thinking about that, if that's what you want to do, you're gonna have a serious problem. Because that's not the way we deal with children. If it was your own, you wouldn't even be thinking about that. You'd be thinking about putting that money into giving them the help that they need to be as productive as they possibly can be. And how would you think about that for elementary and middle school children? It's ridiculous.
Agreed.
Basically, I got a lot of comments being said here, but I do have a question. We have the YDC, the Gwinnett Youth Detention Center. What is the rationale? Is it to have another detention center, a new detention center? You know, what is the purpose of creating a new one that would be of benefit to the community as a whole?
So I'm gonna let Mr. Gatson, because he was correcting me on something about the sheriff office, I'm gonna let him give some information and make that correction for you about who's gonna be over that detention center. Go ahead, Mr.
Yes, I have some information about that. I previously retired from the sheriff's department, and I also worked for the Department of Juvenile Justice for a little while. What you're talking about in Gwinnett County has been closed for several years. So it's been closed. There was one in incorporated Gwinnett, Rockdale, and Newton County, all came to that particular facility. When it closed down, the inmate or the residents were then transferred to other areas like Gainesville has one. There's one in Rockdale that has one in other areas of transport. Who is going to run that is going to be the Department of Juvenile Justice, DJJ. That is a state department that's run underneath the governor, just like the State Patrol, Department of Corrections, all the other entities like that. They will run it, okay? The sheriff's office main thing with it will be transporting Gwinnett residents who are there back and forth. I'm not going to speak for Sheriff Taylor, but I'm assuming that maybe just having it one in Gwinnett County would allow the transportation of them to be a shorter distance. But I'm not going to speak on that because I don't know.
Well, that was, I'll comment on that. That was the feedback I got from the county commissioner's office. The purpose in terms of the sheriff, like you said, is to shorten that commute. From what I was told, to make it easier for parents to visit their kids in there, so they don't have to travel, like you said, Rockdale, you said no one's in Gainesville. They can, if their child were to be in that detention center, they can stay in Gwinnett and not travel outside of Gwinnett to visit the kids. That was so you are correct. That was the feedback I gave from the county commissioner's office.
So that's pretty much the basis of it. And I'm not sure what type of vote the county commissioners are going to put on, because if the state decides they're going to do it, I don't know how that works. So I'm gonna let
From what I was told, It's on the county commissioners are the ones that have to approve it, being here in Gwinnett. The state will fund it, so it won't be, paid out of your county taxes, it will, of course, be your state taxes. That funding will come from, but the county commissioner has to approve it being in Gwinnett.
So the one in Gainesville has approximately 70 beds, okay? So I wouldn't know how many beds they would have here in Gwinnett.
I think I was told 56, yeah, that's what I was gonna say, it's like 50 to 60, something like that.
Something like that, so they might not have just Gwinnett residents, that might be coming from Barrow County or other areas that's gonna be there. I'm not saying for or against it, I'm just trying to give you a little bit of facts as I know about exactly how it should be working, from my experience, that's all. I'm not giving you a day or day two.
Thank you. And we appreciate you correcting me on that and getting that clarified. Anybody, oh, Tracy.
This is why I don't like to take the mic. First, good evening, everybody. I'm just not for it. I'm not. To me, to find another place to house our babies, our children that become young men at some point, it doesn't fix the problem to me. I hear about the commute. I don't even want them to commute. I am a strong proponent of having more social workers in the schools. We're not addressing, there are problems at home. I know we can't go in everybody's house. I get that too. But we really have to start going back into our villages too. We have to talk and know what's going on. We can't hide it, can't put a Band-Aid over it. So I don't have all the answers. I just know when I cut that television on, it hurts me when I look at our babies. This is their born right, a decent education, an environment, and they don't have that. So it's the environment that they need. It's not another place to house them when they do something wrong. They are living in a world of everything that we don't even know what's going on. But we have to set the example. So when you got instructors, go there, and some of the leaders in education, I'm a former school board president, half of them fighting, arguing. I mean, what kind of examples do we leave for them? So there's much more to be done, and I'm just against it. I don't know what else we gotta do, but we do need more social workers. You gotta pay these educators. You gotta start getting more, I don't know. I just think that young men need to see more men and not women necessarily disciplined. And I'm not chauvinistic here, but I'm just saying, they look at us as mothers. We manage everything. We manage the household. But we don't need to march no more. We need to have our men stepping up. They need to just step up. We need to be supportive. But when it comes to our children, housing them away is not the answer to it.
All right, thank you. Anybody else have anything that hadn't spoken already?
Let's go ahead.
Okay, so I guess my question is, we don't want this in Gwinnett County, but since it's coming from the state for, it's like 3.8 million, is it gonna just go somewhere else? So it's just taking something that we know we don't want here, period, as a big holistic picture, and are they just pushing it to another county? So is it gonna be an inevitable thing that's happening anyway?
Right.
And that funding is such a large amount of funding. Is there a way to vote on that as a more broad system of help versus a facility, a detention center facility, whether it's Gwinnett or anywhere? Can we just not do that and take that money and reallocate it?
I will have to engage some of the state elected officials on that matter, and figure out, the logistics of how that works. So I don't really know how to answer that question other than to research who serves on sort of the criminal justice, whatever their purview, and whatever they call that committee at the state legislature, engaging some of those elected officials that, and seeing if any of them are in with that I can contact and figure out, can we do this a different way than how it's already been done? Probably to answer your question, yes, if the county commissioners voted no, I'm sure, since it's a state thing, they probably will look to maybe move it to a different county. But to answer that question, let me check in with some of the state officials.
I was just gonna say, it would have been great if prior to these recent elections, that the community knew that this was going to be a future thing, so that way we can know what is your stance when it comes to this, because that might have changed some people's decision. Because I can tell you now, there's some county commissioners that I'm about to call and text right after this as well. I'm serious. But in addition to that, I will say this, and I'm gonna switch caps. I know bad kids. I've taught some kids and I thought they were demons, okay? And as parents, sometimes we think there's something on our children, right? But I say that to say that it is past due where our places of worship, I'll say that, our places of worship have to get back to stepping up when it comes to the support of homes. It's past due where our religious leaders are not communicating messages from wherever they stand at about certain things. Now, I'm not in no way talking about, as I'm sure everyone has seen the recent post with one teenager and her coming before a body. I'm not talking about that extremity, but I'm talking about reinforcing whatever you say that this is what our belief system is in this household. And so whenever you do act up, you not only represent your family, but you also represent the higher power of the God that we say that we serve. And so having that level of accountability, I think, is a call to action for organizations as being individual members of whatever place of worship that we are, that we're speaking to those religious leaders about, one, what's happening in our homes, okay? And stop putting it in the closet, but start talking about these things. And it's more to it than just praying about it. You gotta do something about it too as well, So I just really think that it's time for us to start speaking up wherever we go, to start speaking about those things and whatever organization that you are when it comes to places of worship.
My belief is start at home. It's not just the child. The child is mimicking something that's going on in their household. So we always want to deal with the child. We need to deal with the family. We need the family and the family friends, because whatever's going on is in their environment. So it's not about the child by himself. It's about educating the parent. If you have a parent acting like a child, the child will act worse. When you have grown men walking around with their pants hanging with their butt, and they're 60, 40 years old, the child will mimic that. So it's not about just the child. As I do my assessment and I do my anger management, I go to the family. I just don't deal with the children. I go to the family. I find out what their friends are and what they're doing. And I do it as a whole, because you have to do it as a whole. If you depend on dealing with that child and they leave you and go back home, it's the same thing they got to deal with over and over again. So as he said, the money must be different. And on top of that, they have clinician. When they train people that are peer specialists, mental health professionals, and won't let them do their job because they're not a clinician. Everybody can't be a clinician. But my question is, why do you train these people to have the position and they don't hire them? You say you can be in my case, an anger management specialist over 40 years. Then you say I can't do X, Y, and Z. But you said I can do it at the beginning. So they get a lot of double talk as far as people helping people, give us positions, give us the credibility, and then you say, we can't do it. So they need to start there as well. Stop saying always clinicians. You have clinicians in the school that's dealing with 700 kids, 3,000 kids. How much are they going to do for one kid? What are they going to do? They burned out themselves. They need a clinician. So it's about appropriate actions, not just on the child level, but through the mental health, behavioral health people of where they let people work after they give them permission to work.
All right, thank you, Luis. I'll take one more comment before we close out this topic, because it seemed like it's pretty unanimous. Okay, Secretary.
So many great things have been said today, and I applaud you all for being on the same page. And I just want to reiterate some of the things that I said. And our society really focuses on punishment and not prevention. We put so much money into punishment, to the carceral system, to the police system, and not nearly enough into prevention and caring for our communities, and to the safety nets that are needed so that way kids and adults aren't getting into trouble. And I think it's going to take us individually talking to each other one at a time, so that way we can take these things and these complaints and bring it to our lawmakers. It doesn't just leave it today that you spoke. You still need to call them. You still need to email them. You still need to write them. You need to show up at the public meetings. You need to make comments at these public meetings. You need to let them know that you are a voter, you are a constituent, and these are the things that you want them to support. And then we need to not put people in office that are going to keep doing these kinds of things, that aren't going to care about preventative measures, and aren't going to put money back into community. We should have community schools. We should have way more social workers in the schools. People are dealing with so much, and we can't do it all. Kids get into trouble for multiple reasons, but we're not really investigating and looking into that. And how do we come up with ways to help these children? And then we send them off to jail, which is supposed to be a correctional facility, a rehabilitation. It's not that. They're learning how to do more crime. They're learning how to be master criminals there. These aren't the places. We need more investments in alternatives to incarceration. We need to treat youth as youth and not as adults. Trying them as adults as young, incarcerating them young. We need to look at this whole system with a new lens, not something that came from slavery, not something that came from back when, way before, your grandparents were even born. We need to look at what works for today, what are today's issues, and how do we address them now? How do we fix our systems? Because now look at the people getting beat up and killed in jails by correctional officers as well. How do we address these kind of things? The jails themselves are unsafe. They're not just because of violence that's going on, because of the jails themselves and the environment in there. So how are we sending more people, especially young kids whose frontal lobe isn't even developed, and we're expecting them to act and behave like adults, and we don't even know the community environment? A lot of times kids are out there trying to help their parents make ends meet and end up going to do the wrong thing to get there, because we're living in poverty. We don't have complete homes. We don't have enough food. We don't have enough heat. We don't have so many different things, and so many people are struggling and going through this. Parents are working more than one job to make ends meet. The minimum wage in Georgia is ridiculous. So a lot of these things stems from other systemic issues, but our government always fails to address those. They just want to address punishment. They just want to hide issues. They just don't want to see them instead of trying to really fix them. It can't always be about the haves and the have-nots, because that's who gets lost in the system, the people that we're dealing with every single day, the people that really need the help, the people that work and live here. So yes, I get it's really challenging, and I've done work with formerly incarcerated people and those that are incarcerated. And they say, when they are sent so far, it's really hard for their families to get there, and that connection is needed. So I get that. And I do think that something needs to be done about that. We can't keep sending people so far away and expecting them to come out these rehabilitated people, and they don't have any connection, any support from their loved ones. People can't take off work. So there is something that needs to be done. So if we're gonna do something about that though, then we also have to do something about investing in our communities and in the people that live here. So that way we don't have to put so much money into crime and punishment. Thank you.
I don't know a better way to close it out than that, so I ain't got no comments. I pretty much concur everything that's been said tonight. That definitely was a mic drop. Our Secretary Shanika Levin. So at this time, we're gonna move off that particular topic. I'm gonna allow District Attorney, Gwinnett County District Attorney Patsy Austin-Gatson come up and speak and give us an update from the District Attorney's Office. Anything you want to talk about?
Well, I just can't leave that topic by itself without telling y'all, when I initially ran for office, that was one thing that's on my heart, is our young people and how they end up. So for that reason, I have several initiatives we began for the first time in the history of Gwinnett County in the DA's office. And one of those programs, we've had 3 cohorts now, getting ready to start our 4th. It's called the RED program, Rehabilitation Enables Dreams. It's for 17 to 28-year-olds first, involvement with the law. What we do is that we don't indict them. What we do is put them in a 12-month program, and they're first offenders, and what we do, put them through that, do some emotional intelligence training, and we've gotten great results so that we're not putting them into the prison system. What we're doing is saying, get your life together. This is your chance to clean up so that you don't have to have family come to visit you in prison. You don't have to go to prison. So we have that program. We also do our Junior DA Investigator Mentorship Program, because it's all about the young people. And Gwinnett County has a whole lot to be proud of. We have the largest school population in the state of Georgia. So I think that behooves all of us to understand that our youth are important. And we have to work extremely hard to keep our kids, our young people out of the system. And that's one thing. Yes, I am the district attorney. Yes, we do put people in prison when they have hurt someone in our community. We deal with that. But my other heartfelt obligation is to make sure that we go to the root of problems and we work with our folks here so that they don't end up in the prison system. You know, I'm a Black woman and I have seen a lot. And as a Black woman, and I have sons, we don't need our young men going to prison at all, period. So that's what I work hard for in our office, for us to understand that sometimes people do need a second chance. They don't need to be thrown into prison. So I work really hard with that, and I will continue to do that. Now, I'm not going to say anything at all about whether there should be a youth detention center in Gwinnett County. I'm going to let the commissioners do what they do. I'm going to do what I do. But, you know, basically, I feel you on things that we should be working on for our young people. We should be the example for the nation on how well our young people are doing. And I'm just going to let it sit there because that's the obligation. Now, as far as other things, I don't know, you wanted me to say something about mental health?
Yeah, what you were, what you spoke about on the campaign trail, about the mental health and having other options instead of just the prison line, it's not the end all to be all.
Well, as y'all know, we do have a lot of issues with folks going into the prison system that have mental health issues and problems. And that's going to continue to be there. Right now in our prison systems, we're dealing with a lot of folks in there and primarily their mental health issues. And that's why you're seeing an uptick in a sense in people getting killed in prison. Because when you have folks in there that are not really ready emotionally, mentally, that's not being treated, then that's a big issue. That's a problem in our prisons, even that we have situations there where folks will just, kill each other
They go
And-
undiagnosed.
Yeah, but I don't know if they have, the prisons do have medication for folks that are there that have mental health problems, but as you know, the prison system is very difficult to hire somebody to do that job, and you can make more at the Dollar Tree. Okay, so that's what's happening with the prison. They cannot get the help that they need in there, and I understand that Governor Kemp now has been cited for that because our prison systems are so horrible in the state of Georgia. So hopefully, you can't just throw money at a problem, you gotta solve it. So hopefully that will be getting better in the near future. And what I ask y'all to do, please reach out to me and, because I am big on community issues and solving them. Because you gotta get to the root of the problem before you can resolve it. We can't, somebody said it tonight, you can't just put a Band-Aid on. You gotta get to the root of what is going on. And as a Black community and even Hispanic or whatever, we all have to work hard and get to the root of situations that are happening with our community. I got 4 grandbabies that live in this community, and I am invested to make sure that we're working hard to make a change. I'm not here just to have a title. The title means nothing, but basically what you do, that's what makes the difference. So I feel like I am making a difference in my first term. We're gonna do even more in the second term to work hard. If y'all have any issues or things that come up, please reach out to our office. We're very receptive as to what happens. And please understand, in our office, we had a New Year's Day double murder on New Year's Day. And the folks that work in my office have to see an awful lot. Because we're here to at least let you all know that somebody's working for justice. Because it's not easy being a victim. Somebody victimizes somebody. We're here to make sure that there's justice brought to it. And by the time somebody steps over a line, I'm gonna prosecute you, and they're gonna go to prison. Or, something, we also still have the death penalty in this state. So these things are real, these things are happening, and I try to do it with a heart. I'm a Christian woman. And basically, I try to do it with that heart to understand, okay, what if that was my family member? How are you gonna work hard at making things right? And that's all we can do, just do the right thing. And I want y'all to reach out to me. Y'all have an issue, please reach out to us. We are very receptive. I have a great team of folks working in the DA's office now, and they are dedicated. So that's all I really have to say.
All right, so that is bringing our meeting to a close. So we will meet again for our next general meeting on February the 13th, which is, we meet every second Thursday at 7 o'clock. Typically, we're not in the auditorium. Most of the time, we're in the conference room. So, but for this special occasion, this is a swearing-in ceremony to the auditorium this particular time. And as our meetings continue to grow, if it gets passed to where we need to get bigger space, we'll come back to the auditorium to host our meetings. But we'll be right here within Justice and Administration Building, 7 o'clock on Thursday, February the 13th. Is there any other questions? The floor is open for anything else anybody else got before I close this out. We did pretty good. Say we started.
Yes, no question, just a comment. Want to acknowledge that Saturday was our president's birthday. So happy birthday.
Appreciate it. I'll make one correction though. It was Sunday the 5th. I think everybody did stop wishing me happy birthday that day early. I gotta think it's right. It's the 5th, but I appreciate that. Listen, thank you all for coming. Again, grateful to all the members. Thank you, District Attorney Gatson, also for Austin-Gatson for showing up to tonight's meeting and doing our swearing-in ceremony. Thank you to all the members. Again, 2025 is going to be a very critical year, given all we know that happened with the election and some of the nonsense that we're starting to see. So we're gonna have to block that stuff out and focus on the work. And that's going to be organizing and having discussions with our elected officials at the local and state level to make sure they're protecting us from some of the things that we may see happen at the federal level. And the only way to do that is to do what we're doing now. Come to these meetings, come to these committee meetings. So we got, I think, about 7, 8 different committees, legal redress, that handles the complaints in the community. We have the political action committee that does voter registration, get people out to vote. We have education that's organized around issues with GCPS and any other schools that may be in Gwinnett County. We got membership that's responsible for helping us grow. Health committee, which is going to be organized around issues with both physical and mental health, which that's been a hot topic tonight. So again, and of course, AXO, and youth council. So if you do got children that want to get involved, as far as organizing, you got a youth council that they can participate in. And those, in the same committees we got at the adult level, they can create at the youth level as well. So, once again, a lot of different committees that we got. And we got others that we can add on, and we got people that want to do the work and participate in them. So get involved, because this is where the real change starts to happen. And like I said, we got a lot of work ahead of us, but we're more than ready to get it done. Again, good night. Y'all have a good evening. Meeting is adjourned.
March. MLK March.
Oh, yes, the MLK event, March, that'll be Monday, January the 20th. I think it starts at 9 a.m.
Yeah. Well,
At
Location?
with that Justice and Administration.
Can we put it on the web? Can we put it on our website?
It'll be posted on our social media. So if y'all follow us, we'll have it out there.
And it's right outside.
It'll be out here in the parking lot at the Gwinnett Justice Administration building. Again, see y'all on February 13th, 7 p.m. Have a good night. If you close us out online. Oh, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Don't do all that. All right. Oh, yes. All right, y'all.
Yes.
Yeah.
You gonna get everybody?